Next we're going to talk about is STO, Security Token Offering. And this is in the category within stablecoins. And what it is you tokenize in blockchain into a wallet. So people digitally have a wallet, it's secured, and they're able to see what their investment is in, and then they're able to get tokens for it against different values of that assets. And it is totally secured. And it's a digital way to do it, and it's very fast, very quick, and it opens up a way for anyone in the world to be able to get on a platform and being able to take some of their fiat money and invest it into a company who gives them back a token as security. And what they're able to receive, there's different ways to do it, but the way that WECO is doing it is they're able to get a dividend back from the different parks that we have are going to develop around the world besides the demo facility. And depending on how much they invest and what their token represents, that's a dividend that they get back. They're able to use this token to be able to trade with other people based on its value. As we get more WECO parks in different parts of the world, our token value is going to be able to go higher and higher and higher. So they're increasing in the value of the token, plus they're able to get a dividend during the process at the same time. So security tokens are really good because they comply with KYC. So there's anti-money laundering. The compliance is with all the different types of laws that are there. And it is in the crypto field, but it is the stablest and most secured crypto. And again, with blockchain, it's very transparent and something that can't get hacked. Don't get confused with the fact that saying this is a Bitcoin or digital coin. If you're not educated that much on it, find some time, do some research, but it isn't a Bitcoin, it isn't a Litecoin, it isn't that type of currency. All it is a representation of something that you have invested in for value. So, security tokens have a very, very bright future. It is something that the government is into, and we're going to get into that a little bit. The IMF and the Fed around the world and what they're transferring into a global coin using XRP and other things. So there's one group that we're working with, going to be transitioning into working with, blockventures.com. It's a parent company of securities.io. And they work with companies around the world. They do a lot of articles, and they also do some consulting to make sure a project like ours, if we approach them, they're able to get us into the right partners that we need to be able to be the most successful, because there's a lot of, as we know, charlatans out there, and we want to keep away from those wolves. But what they do is they bring people in, they're able to help us through their channel partners and finding the right people to match with us. They'll analyze our white paper, they'll go over to a token issue, a referral, technology solutions. They'll go over our roadmaps. They'll go over our market studies. They're going to go over and do our preparations, our legal recommendations, our offerings for our regulations, our KYCs, everything that we need to be able to do. They have done professionally through the consultants that are doing this globally right now. You have groups, Deloitte and Touche. You have all sorts of banks are getting involved in this right now, and it is something that's absolutely of the future, and those that can get in it are going to do very, very well. So let's move on, and we're going to talk about some of their people that who this consulting group we're looking at working with. And as you can see here in the slide, there's a lot of people that they've worked with. These companies are legitimate. They're out there doing very, very well. They went out there and they raised money through tokenization, putting out their white paper and their information like us, and then getting it out into the world, and then having people investing in them with an opportunity to make money in the future. And a great one here to be able to look at that I love is Polymath. Polymath has a service where they're able to take a company like ours, work with us, with other legal and accounting groups consulting us, and through their platform, we're able to put our information with their help, and we're able to launch it to the global community, and they have everything lined up in the back end in the blockchain to be able to accept funds and then put it into our company. It's so amazing. They just had a recent success where they had someone that came in, they didn't have real assets, hard assets, they didn't have a history of success. They didn't have an IP really in technology. It had an incredible idea and some good people, and people believe it was going to be effective in the future, and they launched it, and the group raised over $1 billion and is still raising money. I think their hard market cap was just over $1 billion. And they hit it within a few days. The thing was, you got to get the right people to be able to help you organize it on the right platform to get it out there. And that's what we're looking to do. And the great thing is, we have hard assets, we have IP, we have strong international partners who are partnering with us in this venture with WECO and WECO Parks. We have what it is that we need. And what it is we're reducing risk. People are able to invest in something and they're able to get a dividend back every time that we have a park going out and being developed. It's amazing. And as we grow, their shares are going to, or their token is going to go up in value. And then over time, they can trade it or just keep making the dividends over time. So, you know, we're a very high quality, high caliber group who's looking at using a stable coin. Some people get caught up in the thing, well, it's within tokenization, it has to be within the cyber world, it has to be within blockchain, you can only blockchain those things. The world is changing so fast and governments and large companies are doing this. They're getting into a position where they're using stable coins and getting ready to launch so that people can be able to invest in that way. We're going to get more into how stable coins work on a global scale in a minute. But we're on the cusp of this thing and on the cutting edge, and we are at a very high position to the future of stablecoins.
Security token offerings are the regulated version of ICOs, which we covered in last week's guide. They function in a largely similar way, with projects selling a token to a group of early investors in order to fund their work. The difference between an ICO and an STO primarily lie in the framework and preparation of the sale. Taking part in an STO, at its core, means that you're legally purchasing digital ownership of a physical or digital asset. This can even be a portion of an asset. For example, you can own 1/10 of a gold bar. STOs are built in such a way that they intend to abide by all relevant securities regulations and operate entirely within legal boundaries. Basically, the easiest way to think about it is that an STO is everything that an ICO isn't. While ICOs can be generated out of thin air with little to no concrete backing or promises, an STO must be meticulously crafted and planned. This can be done with an STO issuance platform that will ensure that both sellers and buyers are properly vetted, and that the tokens are issued within the legal parameters required. That being said, running STOs in this manner is still significantly cheaper for companies than running an IPO in the traditional stock market world. Now, some of this might sound bad to you. It's taking the investment requirements and red tape that we have in the current financial world and bringing it to the blockchain. While this is true, you should be aware of the benefits that this brings to both the projects running STOs and the users that buy into them. For example, an STO has gone through rigorous testing in order for it to be available to purchase. Just by being an STO, it raises the bar of legitimacy. The owners of the project you invest in are highly unlikely to vanish with their funds. Furthermore, the value of the STO is tied to the value of the company that's selling them. So rather than value being based purely on hype or community sentiment, it's tied to the actual value of the company. And finally, because the company running the STO has cleared all necessary regulations, they have no reason to fear a government or regulatory body shutting them down. So with STOs, the end user gets access to pre-vetted, legitimate projects with sound assets. The projects themselves get dedicated, pre-vetted investors and the ability to rest easy, knowing that regulatory bodies won't be chasing them down. Because of a lot of the problems with ICOs that we outlined in the last guide, we've seen STOs begin to gain popularity as people search for safer forms of crypto investment. From January 2018 to October 2018, the number of STOs run per month grew steadily. And much like ICOs, the majority of them, 68%, are run on Ethereum, so it isn't particularly tough to make the transition from ICOs. As you can see, STOs may become the preferred form of crypto crowdfunding in the near future. While regulation may be a downside to some, it's hard to deny the many benefits for both the end users and the projects themselves.